Poa sana ni aje? So today I want us to look at some few pairs here and there. Then we call it a weekend. At least we have something to watch over the week. So I'll be going on gold first, then some Euro USD and GBP USD down there. So first of all, let's start with gold. Let's start with gold. Start with gold. So on gold, this is what we have. First of all, do a top-down analysis from the weekly down to 1 hour or 4 hours. So here we concentrate with the weekly candles, right? So as we anticipated that the previous video we did, we saw that we had this candle here, sweeping this bullish candle, sweeping what? This bearish candle, the low. So if the low is being swept, we always target the high. So my high is my liquidity, which has not been taken out. So I'm expecting to target that side liquidity, all right? So this liquidity has already been taken out. So I'll be targeting this this side liquidity, okay? And we can see that the last week candle, this bearish one managed to sweep this previous week candle, the high, and closed bearish, right? And by the way, for if you don't know, gold we are bullish, but you can catch some retracement and some impulsive moves if you encounter them or you see them. Okay, so we have this high being swept out. So if the high is swept, we always target the low. So this is the low which we'll be targeting, but our major high is here, because this all along, this is what the candle which is holding all this candle inside this range of this bearish candle. All right, so here what do we have? We can see that last week we managed to shape this high of this candle and close bearish, and also this bullish candle managed to sweep the high of this candle. Okay, so you can see here we have this high being swept over there. Okay, so we have these highs being taken out. So the only low which we're remaining with is this bullish candle. But if this market drops to this low here, expect this low also to be done or to be taken out. So that's a pending liquidity to be grabbed. But we have this major liquidity around that area, which we are supposed to be looking to take that, to grab that liquidity and expect a reversal or a continuation of that buy. Okay, so last week what the candle, so we mark what this is our previous week candle high. So we mark it as our previous week candle high, like this, previous weekly candle high, and that's supposed to be our previous weekly candle low. And also you can see here around this area, this candle over here took out that high of that candle. So that's a sweep of liquidity above that area, and we had what that reversal targeting what the lows, right? So at around this area, the only liquidity I'm just seeing is around this area. If we take out this liquidity now, the market will give us the direction which where the gold is supposed to to be going, right? So we can go now for daily time frame and look for areas where we can engage to do what? To have either a buy or a sell. So this is on daily time frame, and on daily time frame, and so you can see we have a breakout structure, internal breakout structure, whereby this market came all along and respected this low over here, right? So this market respected that low, and we had that buy going up, right? So on daily time frame, we are going to look about the candles of what? Of daily time frames. Okay. So at this area, we had this candle of Monday taking out the previous day high, right? This Friday candle, it swept the high. We had a sell, right? So this sell all along was just targeting the Friday low. You see this area, we targeted the Friday low. We took out the Friday low, and the following candle managed to take out the Tuesday low, and then we had that buy. But inside here we had this candle of Thursday, which managed to take out the candle, the high of what? Of the Wednesday, broke up above with the body, but the low was never taken out. So that's the reason why we had this candle on Thursday taking out the low, taking out the low. I sure my voice is too slow. Down. Okay, let me see this. Somebody to confirm if my voice is okay. Somebody to confirm. Uh, is my voice okay? Is my voice okay? Is my voice okay? Kindly. Okay. Let me have a look at it. Just a moment. Just a moment. Let me have a look at this. Just a moment. How about that area? Is it okay or what? Okay, so somebody to confirm to me if the sound is clear, then we're going to continue. Okay, so if the quality is very low, improve the quality on your side. Improve the quality on your side. Use even 720 or 1080 or 480. Okay, so I was explaining at around this area. Okay, so I was explaining at around this area the reason why we had this sell, then this market closed what inside the range of this candle. All right, so the reason why we had this sell is because this candle on Thursday, this candle I'm talking about, this is the candle I'm talking about, this candle on Thursday, it did what? It took out the high, the liquidity lying above the candle of Wednesday and closed bullish above the high with a body candle. All right, so that means this candle itself, it created liquidity on the low, right? Whereby we can see that the candle of Friday did not manage to sweep the liquidity lying below the candle of Thursday. So we had this buy, whereby on Monday when market opened, we had to take out the Monday high, I mean the Friday high, right? Targeting what? The Friday low and the Thursday low, because they have created liquidity. Because if you we all say that if we take the high, we are coming for the low, but if we break above the either the high or the low, it's a continuation of that buy or that sell, right? And also we can see around this area the candle of Wednesday, this is a sweep, we have the third sweep there. Okay, we have that sweep. So moving on to this area, this is the candle of Thursday. We can see that the candle of Thursday took out all this liquidity lying below this area and the liquidity on Wednesday. Let's zoom this area so that you can see that I'm not lying or I'm not speaking my propagandas. You can all see here, this candle, the low of this area was taken out at around this area. If you can zoom, do you see that area? It has been swept, right? Okay, but remember, I told you we have only liquidity around this area. This is the liquidity we have only at around that area. Then, what did the candle of Friday do? The candle of Friday, this is the candle of Friday, it managed to take out only the liquidity of, it managed to take out the liquidity of Thursday high. And also the candle of Wednesday, it managed to take out the liquidity lying above the candle of Tuesday and Monday. All right? So that makes the previous week high and the previous week low, right? But remember, this previous week candle had already swept what? A weekly candle high and closed what? Bearish inside the range of the previous week candle. So I'll be looking for a sell to buy. I'll be looking for a sell to buy. But first of all, if you reach to daily time frame and this is the Friday, you mark the Friday high and the Friday low like that. Okay, and we have some sweep of liquidity around that area. So in case we encounter any demand zone at around this area, we're going to pick that buy. If this market this candle on Monday is going to take out what? First the liquidity lying below the candle of Friday, then I'm going to expect this market to do something like that, right? But if it's going to violate that area, then at around this area, I'll be looking for that any demand zone or any point of interest around this area. Then I'll be looking for confirmation at around that area so that I can have that buy. The reason why I'm going to look at this mark this area is because if this candle is going to open and target what the previous weekly low, then I'll be expecting to have some point of interest around this area to give me some reactions for taking that buy. Okay, remember this is a weekly low, previously weekly low around that area. Okay, and we all know where liquidity is lying around. Okay, so let's move to 4 hours. So yeah, we have only said that the only liquidity we have is this area, and the liquidity on this candle, this bearish candle, the low of it, because this low is a previous weekly low and above the high and the low of the Friday candle. So let's move to 4 hours. So on 4 hours, we can all see that we have this on 4 hours. So on 4 hours, what else do we have? We have this internally. I can see we have a breakout structure. Then we can have this as a change of character, and that the order block for that change of character, it's around this area. And also you remember that how we managed to catch these buys from this area, targeting we only targeted this area and this liquidity, this pending liquidity on the weekly range high, but market did not reach there. We only took out this liquidity around this weekly candle, right? So on 4 hours, these are the areas where we expect to have that buying opportunities around this area. So on 4 hours, we have that candle around there, and then we have this imbalance. That's going to be my 4H imbalance FVG. That's 4H FVG. And what else do we have here? I can see we have the sweep of liquidity around that area. That's a sweep. Then we have this high being taken out. That's a change of character to me. Okay, and I have this order block here, and we can see that market created another order block here. That's the reason why this market is resting at around this area. Okay, at around that area. But if you look closely at these lows here, this is the area where we say the candle of when the candle of where the liquidity was lying was supposed to be taken out. That's the reason why we had this sell after this candle here on was it on Wednesday, took out the Monday highs and took out the low of Tuesday, right? It dropped the candle of Wednesday of on Thursday, dropped, taking out the liquidity lying around this candle at this low here. Then we had this reversal. So this is the area again. We said if it's going to play out, we're going to have a buy from that area going up. And also remember, this is the low of Friday and this is the low of the high of Friday. So in case this market drops to the 50%, so in case it drops to the 50% around this area, you can look for that confirmation for buying. But if there's no confirmation for buying, just leave it there until we reach here. But I'm expecting to first to take out the low of Friday. Then we have that continuation. We take the low of Friday, then we have that continuation of that buy. Okay, but if it's going to violate this low, this zone, then we'll be expecting to pick our buys from that extreme zone. Okay, because we can see we have this order block, then we have this imbalance, right? So I'm expecting to have something like that, or something from this going up. So it will only depends on how this market is going to close. But if we take out the Friday high, then expect a sell targeting what? The Friday low, right? But remember, previous week high and the previous weekly low, we have liquidity on both sides, right? Previously week high and previously week low. We have liquidity on both sides. So let's go to 1 hour where I'll stop. On 1 hour, this is the area I'll stop because I don't have much data on this area. So around this area, I'll be taking this bearish candle, and this area I'll be looking at this area there. So if I'm going to refine, then these are going to be my zones. So I'll be looking for a buy opportunity around this area. If I have the confirmation for buying, then then I'll be looking for opportunities of buying from these areas. So this is the kind of setup I have on gold. This is what I can say I'll be looking for. Okay, and also around this area, these are the structures. Let's go to a bit to 30 minutes, just on 30 minutes. So last week we had this break of structure around that high, and we had this change of character around this area, the change of character, and we can see that this market came for this order flow, then we had that sell, right? But if you can see this area, if you can refine that to be that order block, then you're going to have that as an order block whereby you can see what happened. But at this area, market rejected from this order flow, right? So it gave us what? Another break of structure to the downside. Okay, and also we have after that break of structure, this market pushed, clearing all the liquidity line there. Then we have another break of structure at around that line there. So let me remove that. So we have that break of structure, and we can see clearly that this market has come to this point of interest from this area to around that area. Okay, but if we go to 15 minutes, I think we're going to spot a zone. Yeah, you can spot this zone on 15 minutes, yeah, around there, and the continuation of that sell. So supposed to be looking for a sell opportunities there, targeting these areas or down there. You can target all these areas going down. Okay, but what I'll be waiting is on 4 hours. I'll be waiting for that. I'll be waiting for that sell, or that I will be waiting also for that buying opportunities. Okay, yeah, that is it. So now let's go to USD JPY. Let's go to USD JPY. This is USD JPY. Then I'll be removing all this. Then we start from with the weekly time frame. Okay. So on weekly time frame, this is USD JPY on weekly time frame. I'm not going to look around this area because we all know what's going on. what has happened around these areas, but I'll be concentrating at around this area. Okay, at around this area we can see that we have this as the Brego structure, and we can have this as the change of character. Then can have that low as the point of interest, which is currently holding these prices, trying to push it higher and higher. But looking at this pullback, the only thing I can see at a weekly time frame is that structure, and I can see we have this point of interest which is being mitigated, this supply zone for this Brego structure, right? So we have that point of interest. Then what else do we have? We can see that the last week candle managed to break above the previous weekly candle with a body, right? But it managed to do what? To mitigate a point of I mean, as an imbalance, which is trying, whereby it's trying to do what? To react from that area. Okay. Okay. So what do we have? I have we can call this as internal breakout structure, and then this is the origin of that area. Then if we refine this point of interest, I'm going to have this bearish candle there, which is being mitigated around this area. Then if I'm going to refine this, then I'm going to refine to this bearish candle over there, which has imbalance. Okay. And what else do we have? Now let's look on a daily candle. Remember last week I said we all not even I said, we anticipated that we might have a push to this lower side, but we had that internal breakout structure, and we had this order block around that area, which was eventually mitigated, right? So I even told you that this is my point of interest. If we had the confirmation of buying opportunities from this area, we're going to buy that market USD buy from this area. But if we are not going to see any opportunities of buying, then expect market to come and react from this point of interest, or it reacts from that imbalance around that area. But clearly we can see this is the starting of the week, whereby the Monday managed to do or to react from this area. So okay, so let's remove this or let it be there. First of all, let it be there. So now let's look at the candle on how they communicated to each other. We can see at around this area, this is the starting of the Monday, whereby it took out the Friday with a body, right? So if this candle, the next candle on Tuesday did not manage to drop to take out the low of either the low of Monday or the low of Friday, so that means the low of Friday is going to remain as our liquidity, okay, and the low of Monday is going to remain as our liquidity, because we'll be targeting them. Okay, then let's look at the candle of Tuesday. The Tuesday managed to break above the candle of Monday with a body, but the candle of Wednesday, it swept the liquidity line above the candle of Tuesday and the low of Tuesday, right? The candle of Thursday, did not manage to do what? To give us this direction to take out what? The low of Monday, right? The low of Monday. So that means at around these highs, we have already managed to catch what? the liquidity lying above those areas. So what else do we have here? This candle of Thursday, we have the high and the low, but the candle of Friday, it only managed to stay inside the range of Thursday, okay, the high and the low of Thursday. So I'll be marking this previous day what high and low, whereby I'll be expecting market either to go above or the low. Okay, then I'll mark the Friday high as my previous day high, then I'll mark the low as my previous day low, as my previous day low, like that. Okay, but remember, we have these liquidities at around those areas. We have the Friday, this Friday low, right? And we have this Monday low. But beneath these areas, we have this point of interest. Okay, let's first of all remove that. Around that area, we have this imbalance there. Okay, we have that area. We have that imbalance at around that area. Okay, so let's move to 4 hours so that we can see what's going on there. So if we refine this daily demand, we're going to use that, then that's going to be our imbalance around there. Okay, at that point. Okay, this is the Monday low, but inside the Monday low, what do we have? We have another point of interest which give us what? This break of structure. Okay, we have that area which gave us that break of structure. Okay, so here we'll be looking for a change of character around this area, whereby we'll be expecting to have a drop, so that to take out these liquidities lying around these areas, because we have the external break of structures and we have some internal break of structures. Okay, we all know that around this area market gave us what? This beautiful change of character. It gave us this beautiful change of character, right? Whereby this market reacted from this order flow at around that area. Okay, so we are going to look for a change of character from this area, so that we can have a sell towards this area. So what else can we see here? I can see that the candle of Friday, it only managed to do what? To give us a ranging market. That's what I can see. So we are waiting for the manipulation, then distribution, right? The candle of Friday managed to give us what? The accumulation. Okay, so going to look for that. Okay, so let's look for a change of character at the lower time frames, so that we can look for those opportunities. Let's remove this. So we can see that market is reacting from this point of interest, and we have that break of structure, and we have this change of character, and we have that supply zone which was eventually mitigated, Okay, and at around this area, after the mitigation of that, you can see that we have this the last break of structure. Then we can see we have what this as our change of character. This change of character occurred on Friday, right? And the market gave us what this push, okay, down, whereby we had this break of structure around that area, okay, whereby this market is currently running at that area, whereby it took out that inducement around this area and the liquidity. But I'm expecting the high, either the high to be taken out. So I'll be looking for this, the remaining shadow, to be my point of interest. Okay. But remember, we have the Thursday high. So the Thursday high has created the liquidity. So neither the high or the low was taken out. So I'll be expecting to see something like a sweep around this area so that we can have that area. But if we're going to react to take out the high of Friday, then we might take the high of Friday, then we go down. Okay. So this is what I'll be expecting on 1 hour or 4 hours with confirmations to have a sell either from that point of interest, stop loss just a little bit there, then I'll be targeting these liquidities around that area. So that is it on USD/JPY. Then I'll be looking for GBP USD. Be looking for GBP USD weekly time frame. So on weekly time frame GBP USD, we can see that we are bullish, but we have been bearish, but the current is we are still bullish. Okay, so the last break of structure on weekly, we have that break of structure around that area. This break of structure on weekly time frame. And we can clearly see that where are we reacting from? We are reacting from this point of interest around that high, right? So from that high, let's look at the current. Why? What do we have around that area? So we can see we have that break of structure, and the market came for, did manage to come for the 50%. No. Okay, so we having this that break of structure there, and we have this block there where the market is almost approaching, and we have this shadow over there. But we can all see that the last week managed to do what, to break the previous week with the body, and we managed to sweep this low. Let's have a look at this. Let's look at this. Yeah, we managed to have a sweep of that low, right? Because you can all see here, this candle swept the high of this, so we are all along what doing? We are all along selling, targeting what? This low. the low of this bullish candle, because the high has been taken out. So we target what? The low. Now let's move to daily. So on daily, if we're going to refine this point of interest, then you can have that, then you can have that, but we have some pending point of interests around that area, so we're going to have that area also. Okay, but we have swept this weekly low. So but we have this order block at around this area because of this break of structure there. So we'll be looking for buying opportunities either from the current where the market is, or if it mitigates this demand zone at around that area. Okay, so let's look at how the candles came from Monday. So we have this Monday taking out the low of Friday with the body, right? The low of the body. So that means the Monday high, this is liquidity lying around there. We wait for it to be taken out, and the high of Friday, that's liquidity. Okay, but let's have a look at these areas. What's going on here? We have this candle of Tuesday, whereby it took out the Monday low with a body. So the high has liquidity, and you can see the candle of Wednesday taking out the low and also the high of the candle of Tuesday. Okay, so the candle of Thursday, because the low was taken out, that's why we had this buy, but this buy did not manage to go up there to the until the high of what, Wednesday, but it managed to do what, to add this buying, and it closed around this area inside the range of this candle of Wednesday. And the candle of Friday, we can see the candle of Friday taking out the high of Thursday. Yeah, the high of Thursday, because this candle of Wednesday, it managed to do what, to sweep the high of Tuesday. So any other block at around that area, that's the one which gave us that sell on Friday, right? So, and remember, this is also a sweep of that low. So the only places remaining with liquidity is the Friday low. So I'll be marking the Friday low as my previous day low, and the Friday high as my previous day high. I mean the previous day, not previous week. Like that. So I'll be expecting either one of them to be taken out so that we can have a buy or a sell. But I'm looking for going long in this pair. On 4 hours, what do we have on 4 hours? On 4 hours, this is what we have. On 4 hours, we can see that this market all along, it came for this point of interest at around that area to test this point of interest once and the second time again, right? But all along, this is the demand which has been trying to hold this push around that area. But we can see the liquidity sweep, then having that buy. Okay, and the reason why we had that liquidity sweep is because that area is going to hold is because of this break of structure. But we can see clearly where we are supposed to be looking for a buy from this point of interest around this area. Okay, so at around this area we have liquidity and we have this liquidity, but we can see we had a break of structure to the downside. And above that liquidity, what do we have? On 4 hours, I can see we have this beautiful supply zone around that area. Okay, because we can see that clearly this market swept the liquidity lying below that area and it came for this supply zone, and we had that massive sell in that area. Okay, now let's move to 1 hour. So on 1 hour, remember we are looking for a point of interest so that we can have a buy. And let's try it and look for on a daily. Let's try and look for on a daily. Okay, 1 hour. Because we have this Friday high and Friday low, I'm going to take out the shadow to be my point of interest, but I'll be very cautious around this area. I'll only work with confirmation. If we take out the Friday low, then I'll be expecting that. Okay, I'll be expecting that. But what else again? Let's look at this on 15 minutes. So on 15 minutes, when market mitigated this order block on 4 hours, this is what we had. This is what we had. We had this breakout structure there. Then we had this change of character. And we had this demands on here, which I gave out to the group on Telegram, so that at least anybody who managed to catch that buy. And also we had this, after the mitigation of this now order block, we had that breakout structure again, and then we had this change of character. Okay, we had that change of character, and we had this order block at around that area, which managed to give us what, that push. So after that push, what do we have? We have this breakout structure to the upside. So if I'm waiting for these buys to happen at around this area, then these are going to be my liquidity areas. So I'll be waiting for all this liquidity to be grabbed so that I can have that buy from that area. But if that area is going to fail, then I'll be looking for an opportunity at around this area where I've marked this order block, the forward demand zone at around that area. So I'm looking for a buying opportunity from either this or this order block on 15 minutes from that shadow which I've marked. Right, so that's it on GBP USD. So let's go to Euro USD. So on Euro USD, let's go to weekly. We all know all these pairs on how they move, Euro USD and GBP USD. So we had a breakout structure here. We had that breakout structure. Yeah, we had that breakout structure, and we can see clearly that this market is reacting from that supply zone for the breakout structure, this point of interest around that area, right? So that's the area where this market is reacting from. And else do we have? Coming to the current one, and see we have this kind of breakout structure on a weekly, whereby this market is reacting from this area, right? But the origin of this breakout structure which happened there, we have this point of interest around that area. But we can see that clearly the last week candle managed to take out the low of this man this previous week candle with what, with a body. Okay, so that means we might have a continuation or a reversal, because we are reacting from that order flow, I mean from that OB, from this order block. Okay. Then if I'm going to refine, I'm going to refine to this point of interest there on daily time frame. Then if I'm going to refine this, but remember we are reacting from this order block on a weekly time frame. Okay, so I'll be refining to that shadow there. So at this point we are supposed to be looking for on how the last week candles on daily time frame they communicated to each other. So where is the candle of Monday? We have the candle of Monday here, whereby the candle of Monday, it managed to have what, this sweep, right? But what was the trend? We are supposed to be looking for a sell. That's why we had these selling opportunities around this area after the Monday load. After the Monday managed to take out these liquidities on this area. So that means this is the Friday candle, whereby the Friday candle was taken out, the low was taken out. Then we can see clearly at around that area, the Friday high was already swept, whereby this market reacted from this shadow around that area. Okay, so Friday high was taken out. Then we had what? We had this reversal. I mean, this continuation of this sell. Okay, so the candle of the candle of Tuesday took out the Monday low with the body. We had a sell. Then coming on Wednesday, we had that spike which took out the low of Tuesday and cleared the highs of Tuesday and Monday and Friday highs, which eventually mitigated what, this shadow at around that area of the candle of Thursday. And then we had what, that beautiful sell. Then coming on Thursday, the candle of Thursday managed to take out the low of Wednesday, the candle of Wednesday, right? Coming on, so if it managed to take out this area, so this candle on of Thursday, the high, you can see that the candle of Friday swept the high and closed inside the range of the Friday, right? So now the only liquidity we can say we are remaining with is the low of Friday around that area. Okay, so we mark this area as the Friday low. So that's a previous day low, and then this is the previous day high. This is the candle of Friday, marked as the previous day high. So if this candle is going to open from this area, I'm expecting to meet around any supply at around that area. We target this low, then we might come for there, then we go bullish. Okay, so that's what I'm expecting on UAEU on daily time frame. Okay, then let's come to the candle of on 4H, on the 4H time frame. On the 4H, if we're going to refine, we're going to refine to that area. this bearish candle, then whereby we might have that as our breakout structure around that area. Okay, to have that area, but where are we expecting? So we said we're expecting to have a sell from there, targeting the Friday low, if it's going to mitigate this area. But remember, this is the weekly low, previous weekly low here, and this is the previous weekly high, right? So let's go to 1 hour. On 1 hour, I'm going to focus at around this area. Let's have a look at what happened here. Around this area, we had this change of character. Around this area, the first breakout structure, always the low is taken out. That's a change of character. So this is the breakout structure. Then this is supposed to be a change of character, whereby we can all clearly see that the supply zone was mitigated. And then we can have this as our breakout structure. Again, we can have that as a breakout structure, and we can have this again as a breakout structure. And all these breakout structures, you can see the supply zones are being mitigated. The supply zones are being mitigated, and after that, we can have that point there, breakout structure, whereby now we can have this bullish candle here mitigated, and this is the candle where we had that spike. So this is a shadow. If we refine there on daily time frame, it was a shadow, but to this point of interest, we're going to mark this, or it reacted from that imbalance. Actually, it reacted from this imbalance around there. But this demand zone you're seeing here, which I've marked, it's very valid. It's a valid. Okay. The reason why I'm telling you it's valid is because we have this weekly high at around this area, because this is the weekly high and this is the weekly low, previous weekly low. So we had that breakout structure, and again we had this breakout structure. Okay, but we have a sweep here. We have a sweep here. Okay, after this sweep here, that's the reason why we had this buying opportunities from this area, because if you can look at this area, we have this breakout structure, then we have this change of character, whereby this market came and swept the low and gave us this confirmation entry at around this area. Then you can have that buy. Okay, so on 1 hour, if this market is going to take out the Monday low, okay, this Monday, I mean the Friday low, then I'll be expecting to have a buy from that point of interest there, going up. But if we are going to start with the sell, at least I'm going to expect was it on 30 minutes, just a little bit. Then on 30 minutes, if I'm going to expect at least from this point of interest, we might expect a sell. If it's going there, we're going to react from there before we push higher. Okay, but if we're going to take out this weekly low, then we can have that to this point of interest. This point of interest on 4 hours. Okay, can have that on 4 hours. Can have this sell from this area towards this area, then so that we can go bullish, right? But if we manage to take out this low, we're going to have a change of character for the reversal of that sells. So Euro USD on 30 minutes, you can have that sell from this area going targeting these areas, but for me I'll be looking for buying opportunities either from this area with confirmation. Remember, everything works with confirmation, so don't pick any buying opportunities you see. If the market react has mitigated your order blocks, you start opening positions with no confirmation. I'll be looking for that. Yeah, so this is what I have on Euro USD on 30 minutes. This is what I have on Euro USD on 30 minutes. So we've looked at GBP USD, gold, Euro USD, and USD JPY. The other pair, I think it's which pair is that? GBP NZD. Is it GBP NZD? Yeah, yes, GBP NZD. This is GBP NZD, and I remember I made this video on my TikTok account, and I say that if you're going to have this change of character here, then we will be coming for this demand over here. It was on 4 hours, so I made that if we're going to take this high and cause a change of character, then we're going to have this sell towards this demand zone of 4 hours, so that we can have that buy. And again, we have caused this change of character at around this area, so I'm anticipating we might have that buy. But if we're going to violate this area, then we have this pending demand zone over here. I'll be looking for a buying opportunity on GBP NZD if this market approaches what, this area. Okay, and the other pair was EAUD USD. So now the USD, I anticipated that we might have a drop to this area, but we can see clearly this market reacted from this point of interest around this area. From that area, but no problem if we might have a drop. If it's going to drop from there to this point of interest, then I'll be looking for confirmations. So that's what I'm waiting on AUDUSD, if it's going to give out that opportunity. Okay, so I think I'll stop there. I'll have a stop at that point so that we meet next time. Remember, I've not looked down GBP JPY. On GBP JPY, I'm expecting a sell. I'm expecting a sell on GBP JPY, and also I haven't looked at DXY and also on Yen basket. So let's have it around that area at that time, and we meet next time. Cheers, guys, and thank you for joining. Thank you for joining, guys. Thank you.